John Wallace, Wild Game Cook here. Today I'm going to show you how I process my turkey, or in this case, turkeys. The kids were very lucky and very fortunate in Missouri this year to knock down 3 birds. We have 2 jakes and a gobbler. Since processing them in the field, I've had them in the fridge for almost a week, and we had them on a drain tray in order to have a lot of the fluid slip away from the meat. Here you'll see where I did vac seal a turkey breast earlier in the week, and you can see that there is still some drainage. Not that this is a bad thing, but it does show you that moisture was still in the turkey breast. Same way with this leg here. A little bit of moisture. On these legs here, I took them off the draining tray, the rack, last night. We used just kind of a warming cookie sheet. You could use a meat lug with the meat lug drain tray as well. But these are, basically they've been drained, they're a little bit drier, they're nice and dry aged for about 5 to 6 days. We're gonna go ahead and go through and get into this leg meat. Don't forget that in the field, all right? There's about 3 to 4 pounds of meat on an adult bird, and there's about 3 pounds of boned out meat on a juvenile jake turkey. It needs to be low and slow braised. Definitely takes some more time and attention and skill in the kitchen to make it tender, but it is tender and it's very tasty, and you get a lot of meals out of that. That tray right there, along with this one that's vac sealed, is 12 pounds. This whole tray right here of breast meat, tenderloin meat, along with this, is 12 pounds also. Really almost about 11. So there's a lot of bones in here, yes, but it's relatively, generally, the same amount of meat on a turkey, so don't leave the legs. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through kind of how I go about processing these. We're gonna go ahead and separate the drummy from the thigh. If I only had one bird, I may leave the thigh and the leg together as I've done here. Again, since we were fortunate to get 3 turkeys on the ground, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the gobbler legs separate because they're older, larger, and gonna cook differently than the jake legs and thighs. But I'm gonna take the other ones and I'm gonna break the drummy off of the thigh and vac seal them with the max vac go separately. On the tenderloins, I'm going to trim up the big tendon that runs through the center and take that out of there. So these are going to be perfect when we go to cook them. I'm going to trim up some of the fascia and some of the membrane that run through the turkey breast, and I'll show you that. Other than that, let's get to it. I'll walk you through it. A paper towel works great for getting any loose blood, any feathers. It's just nice, kind of acts almost like a glue when you pinch it with your fingers. You can see on this drummy here, these hard fibrous shivers of bone, okay? It's basically a tendon, but it's firm. Those are what you're gonna be picking the meat off of. This isn't like a leg from the fair where you can just start eating on it. There's some on the back side here too. But again, this is the gobbler leg, so we're gonna go ahead and set that off to the side. And we're gonna go ahead and start taking these here. Again, use your paper towel to get off any excess fascia or any feathers, and we're basically just going to find the joint and we're going to separate that thigh from the drummy. Just like that. Slice through. Slice through. So we'll take all 4 of our jake drums and we're going to vac seal those together in one package. Maybe I'll do them in 2 separate packages, depending. But then these thighs here, again, a lot of meat. Let's get our scale. All right. 1 gobbler thigh weighs a ½ pound. Okay. I mean, that's much larger than a chicken thigh right there. Plenty of good meat. It'll break down really nice. Don't worry about this silver skin here. If you're doing a low and slow application, that's all going to melt away. As for that drummy, again, ½ pound, 0.7, 0.8, almost 2 pounds. These feathers aren't a big deal as far as, I mean, they're feathers. But if you've got picky eaters, if you've got people new to wild game, it's definitely a best practice to try to get rid of as much of that as possible, because you're obviously, I'm not saying you won't see it in store-bought meat, because you totally will see feathers on chicken wings or things of that nature. Just be conscientious. And it's that simple for all four of those. Again, what I would do is probably put one facing one way, one facing the other, and put them in my 8-inch bag here, seal them up. We'll move on to the breast and the tenderloins. All right, when you look at the size comparison of an adult gobbler to a Jake, let's get the one that matches it here. Okay, here's the difference between an adult Tom and a Jake. 2.3 pounds, 1.2 pounds, almost double the size. And this was just a two-year-old bird. Jake, 1-year-old bird, 2-year-old bird, you're looking at double the amount of meat. You could totally leave this whole and vac seal it just as is. This is a lot of meat, especially for our family. So I'm going to show you how you can break it up and remove some of the connective tissue and silver skin in the process. So if you look at the front of the breast, you'll see this membrane running right through there. Also, just like on your chicken breast at the house, where it connects to the wing, you've got this nice piece of thick cartilage and connective tissue. And we're going to go ahead and cut around that as well. Just kind of slip your knife underneath of it, trying to waste as very little meat as possible. Be super careful not to cut yourself. And just remove that piece of connective tissue out of there. Normally, the tenderloin would sit just like that, just as it would on a chicken breast. Okay, there's normally a piece of fascia, a piece of, I call it paper, that sits here. Peel that off of there, and then again, you can come back in here, get that tendon kind of isolated, and then just run your knife over it. Sometimes that paper towel we were using earlier, you just take that and use it to grip onto that tenderloin, flipping it back and forth. And that's how you remove that this is inedible here. It's very thick, much thicker than chicken. Again, these birds are running from their lives. They're genetically a little bit different. So this is perfectly good, just absolutely tender meat right there. All right, so now that we got that off, you'll see that the end of this is very thin compared to this thicker part. Again, just like a chicken breast. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here to where we have this membrane, and we're just going to use our knife to kind of roll it back off the membrane. Taking our time, finding the end of it. I just went about an inch back, and you can see there where I've exposed the edge of it so that I can get that out of there. Just slip your knife under, rock it back and forth. Sometimes you can just pull it apart. So again, there is the piece of silver skin that we're looking to remove. This is all boned out meat, but of course we've got this big dangly piece here. Just square that off. This is a great, think of it like a similar in size and shape to a deer roast. You could brine it, season it, and smoke it to make lunch meat, turkey lunch meat. There's nothing in here as far as connective tissue, things of that nature you need to worry about. But that's one nice little lobe there of turkey meat. You can, again, roll it into itself if you want, smoke it just like that, dice it up, make it into tenders. Just think of it as a large chicken breast. You can make it into smaller pieces, but I'm going to freeze this whole and decide what I want to do with it later. As for this portion here, you can take this along with this piece with the silver skin, and we're going to fillet it kind of just like a fish. So we're going to kind of just go down to the end. Once you get started, and you can just pull that right off of there. Okay? And now again, you're left with a beautiful piece of turkey meat. So you can take these two right here. That's about 1 pound of meat, and you can freeze those together. If you wanted, you could take both tenderloins and put in there with it. We already ate the one tenderloin, not gonna lie to you. But right there could be a portion size. You could do what you want with this later. You could grill it. You could chunk it up and fry it to make turkey nuggets. But there's so many more options out there than just fried turkey nuggets. So we've got that right there. All right, that's one turkey breast. As for this Jake breast, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna separate this so we can get that silver skin out. We're gonna take this piece off right here and get rid of some of that fascia right there. Okay, so we've exposed that membrane. There we go. So we've got our tendon. Just go ahead and slice the meat away from it to give us access to it. Use our paper towel. Flip it over to get it started. Go back and forth. Tendon perfectly clean and removed. Turkey tender right there, ready for frying, grilling, anything you want with that right there. All right, all of our tenders are done. We're going to keep working on the rest of these breasts and get it all vac sealed up. We're going to go ahead and fire up the Max Vac Go. What I normally do, because that sealing bar is not hot, I'm going to go ahead and seal it. I'm going to go ahead and seal the second time on the first run. After the first run, it's good to go, unless there might be some moisture from the turkey breast, in which, again, I may go ahead and put a double seal on it. Go ahead and drop that back down. Check your seal, looks great. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and measure out my drums. That looks good. I'm going to slice these up. It's best to label them before you put the cold meat in so that your marker shows up really, really well. While that's sealing, we can write on this. You want to make sure you have gaps on the sides to allow airflow from the bottom to travel up and through. Hit seal, and that'll be it for this bag. That dry aging process I was talking about really helps for minimizing the moisture in this, which is going to give you a better seal. There's one package down. If you need to, you could swap out the 8-inch bags for the 11-inch bags for those larger turkey breasts, or if you just got a wider cut of meat. I think it's also important to note that I took the time to cut the legs off at the joint. This gives me a good round edge instead of sharp bones that could puncture your bag. There you go. All right, we're going to finish up the rest of these, and we'll see you back here at the end. All right, so as you can see, if we were to have just kept the breast from these birds, again, one Jake, there's your breast meat right there. Yes, there's a couple of tenderloins tucked into here, but that's how much meat you're getting on one Jake. Now you can add in this and this from one Jake, or this from 3 birds. You're going to double the amount of meals by keeping the legs and vac sealing them. These will be good for 2 years if they need to be. They won't be in the freezer that long, but they're going to keep really nice. Make sure you check out the LAM vac sealers, the bags, and best of luck in the turkey woods this year.